This American influencer wants to be famous, but now he's probably going to prison.
A kick streamer is facing 20 years in a South Korean prison after filming himself harassing women, trashing businesses, and disrespecting war monuments.
We find ourselves staring at the trial that has the world watching. A courtroom in Seoul, so packed that journalists line the hallways and not a single seat is left unclaimed. It's October 29th. The air feels supercharged, and for once, Johnny Somali isn't in control of the spectacle. This is a moment of reckoning for a generation of digital provocateurs, and every eye flicks between the stern-faced judges, the rows of furious onlookers, and the man at the center of it all, a YouTuber who built a global audience out of outrage and now faces as much as 12 years behind bars. 12 years, the kind of sentence that could end a career, or, if we're being honest, finally teach a lesson to all the copycats who think life is just one long live stream.
Okay, so we just got out of Johnny Somali's third court day here in the beautiful yet rainy Seoul, South Korea. And it's safe to say, last time things went terrible for him, today things went awful. And honestly, kind of embarrassing because a lot of the stuff they did not make sense whatsoever. Clearly, he was way more locked in. He realized how much he screwed up now it seems like, and he's realizing, uh-oh, I might be stuck in prison for a long time.
As the presiding judge calls the court to order, a ripple of nervous energy runs through the gallery. The world's media, everyone from Seoul to PRIS to LA, has shown up to capture the moment Johnny Somali, real name Ramzi Khaled Ismail, faces a parade of witnesses. The scene is pure tabloid gold, prosecutors leaping through folders thick with complaints, a defense team clinging to the slimmest of technicalities, and, yes, that infamous Navy SEL who punched Somali during a chaotic street broadcast last year, stepping into the witness box. We catch the SEL's glare, equal parts military discipline and personal vendetta, while Somali, ever the showman, manages a crooked grin, one hand resting on a pile of legal printouts, as if they were another stack of viral clips.
And that extends the whole trial process by easily 2 to 3 months. So if he just pleaded guilty to that, things would be over pretty quickly. He would get his sentence and he would at least know what his fate is. But now they're deciding to extend the process for no real upside, and by him not pleading guilty, that just makes the sentence even harsher on him.
What's at stake goes way beyond Johnny Somali's fate. This trial is being pitched by both legal experts and local lawmakers as a precedent-setting moment, a showdown over the future of so-called nuisance streamers, those digital daredevils who push the boundaries of public decency for a hit of online fame. The charge sheet reads like a highlight reel of internet idiocy, obstruction of business, disrespecting national monuments, lewd stunts, plus the bombshell accusation of creating synthetic videos to humiliate rivals. The room is heavy with the sense that whatever happens here could echo across the world, laying down the law for every aspiring prankster who thinks a passport and a smartphone are a free pass to chaos. It's a rare thing to see an entire culture fight back against a single online personality, but here in Seoul, public anger has reached a boiling point. Earlier in the month, a local parent, allegedly caught up in one of Somali's streams, filed a court petition demanding the maximum sentence allowed by law. According to one observer, they want him made an example of. No deals, no slap on the wrist, no influencer privilege. This isn't just about Johnny anymore. Multiple countries in East Asia are considering new laws that could carry over to other troublemaking streamers because, as we know, Somali is only the loudest of a growing pack. One of his main IRL rivals, recently detained in the Philippines, is waiting on a deportation order of his own. It's become something of an arms race, who can get banned, punched, or arrested the fastest, and whose court case will draw the biggest headlines.
So today, at least he was very serious. So, currently he's facing 8 counts, or 8 charges, and 4 of which are obstruction of businesses, 2 of which are misdemeanors. He pled guilty to all 6 of those charges. Then you have the 2 big charges, which are the deepfakes charges, and the deepfake charges are for distributing the deepfakes.
The opening salvos of the trial set the tone for what's to come. Somali's legal team surprises no one by entering guilty pleas to 2 counts of business obstruction and 2 charges under the Minor Crimes Act. The facts here are hardly in dispute. Multiple videos shot by Somali himself show him harassing convenience store clerks, making a spectacle on public transportation, and, in perhaps his lowest moment, taunting elderly employees over instant noodles while streaming live to an international audience. Yet as the prosecution rattles off the charges, we catch Somali defiant as ever, shaking his head and denying the most explosive accusations, the deepfake charge, a case that legal experts say could be a watershed moment for AI law in Asia.
So this turd, his name is Johnny Somali. Well, that's not his actual name. His real name is Ramsey.
It's here that the real drama begins to take shape. The judge announces that one of the alleged victims of Somali's synthetic content, reportedly another live streamer caught up in a web of digital feuds, will be testifying in the days ahead. This is no ordinary defamation case. Prosecutors allege that Somali didn't just fake a video for laughs, but set out to destroy a rival's reputation as part of a months-long vendetta, a digital battle fought with bots, edits, and viral hashtags. The audience leans forward. For every influencer out there using AI for pranks or payback, this could be the legal landmine that finally blows up the game.
In fact, we can see this thing go as quickly as going into, let's say, October, November, maybe it could end, or it could go into 2026. It's very, very possible that can happen at this point. It really all depends on how this plays out and also on how Johnny pleads.
Of course, not everything here is unfolding in the open. Rumors swirl through the court's shadowy corridors. Whispers from courthouse staff, a tip-off from a Seoul reporter, speculation posted by rival streamers. Some claim that U.S. diplomats are negotiating behind the scenes to strike a deal. Let Somali serve a brief sentence in Korea, then quietly deport him to the States before the year is out. If true, it would be a staggering twist. A win for international PR, but a slap in the face for Koreans, demanding justice on their own terms. Others say the government is split, with hardliners in parliament pushing for maximum jail time to send a message. Not in our country, not on our watch. No official statement yet, but outside the courthouse, crowds chant for a punishment that actually stings. If the stakes weren't sky high already, we're only beginning to see just how much chaos Somali has left in his wake. Prosecutors hint at even more charges. Alleged lewd speech at a Seoul amusement park, possibly violating strict rules against suggestive content around minors. He's banned from leaving the country, his passport reportedly flagged by authorities from every angle. And just to keep things spicy, the courts received a hotline report accusing Somali of dabbling in illicit substances during his wildest dreams. We're told that conviction on the most serious charge, the AI deepfake production, could by itself net him up to 7 years in prison. Throw in the rest, and the numbers start to look less like a scare tactic and more like a bleak reality. 4, 6, even 10 years.
Ramsey Khalid Ismail has been hit with a new criminal charge. That's right. As of 2 days ago, on the 25th of July of 2025, we have a new criminal charge for Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey Khalid Ismail.
Now let's talk about Johnny Somali, the personality. The man who seems pathologically unable to keep a low profile even as the walls close in. Weeks before the trial, he went live in downtown Seoul, staggering through the streets, bottle in hand, rambling about how his American citizenship would keep him untouchable. He even wore a bright red "Make America Great Again" hat in the courtroom, despite being sternly ordered to remove it by security. Was it an act of bravado, some kind of last-ditch plea for attention from the US government, or just a man convinced that the script of his life can't possibly end with a prison sentence? At his first hearing, he was over an hour late, having gone on an all-night stream where he mocked the court, then fell asleep on camera. The spectacle continues outside the court's walls. In Seoul, he's gone from being a viral menace to a public enemy, his face plastered across news tickers and social media feeds, every move analyzed by local commentators and international legal analysts. Even South Korean parliamentarians have weighed in, debating whether new laws are needed to keep foreign rage baiters from making a mockery of the justice system. There are bounties circulating on social media, yes, actual cash rewards offered by local YouTubers to anyone who can track him down, and in one notorious case, land a punch during his live stream. It's gotten to the point where some have started calling it the Somali effect, a perfect storm where influencer arrogance, international law, and pent-up public anger collide in spectacular fashion.
Anyway, Johnny Somali was arrested partially for his own safety because after days of him streaming himself being incredibly rude and disruptive in South Korea, there were literally hundreds of Asian people on the street all hunting down a black guy to sucker punch.
Meanwhile, his apology tour, if we can call it that, has not exactly melted hearts. In a widely shared video, Somali, flanked by a group of visibly skeptical locals, stands before a memorial statue for the so-called comfort women, bows awkwardly, and recites a short, heavily accented apology. "I just want to apologize for what I have done, and my behaviors did not mean to hurt Koreans' pride this much," he says, though viewers are quick to notice that he has not scrubbed the offending content from his social channels. To the tabloids, it's classic Johnny, say sorry just long enough to get out of trouble, then pivot right back to "it's just a joke, bro." Is he really sorry, or is this just another bit for the livestream archives?
So he was living in Japan for a while, and one night he gets drunk and he live streams himself putting on a fake Asian accent, and he starts saying racist things on the subway.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we destroy it because you don't know how to behave. You know Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We're gonna do again.
And then there are the allegations that keep coming, like clockwork. Somali is now also being probed for distributing North Korean propaganda, something that in South Korea is not just taboo, but a potential felony under the National Security Act. We're told he played the North Korean anthem on Instagram and then doubled down by blasting it in public, all for the reaction clips. As one Seoul lawyer put it, if you do that once, maybe they'll let it slide. Do it multiple times and you're playing with fire. The law here is strict, and if prosecutors decide to push the issue, it could mean 7 extra years added to the sentence. So, is Johnny Somali the internet's great court jester? Or is he, as one local put it, an unrepentant provocateur who just found out the world isn't his playground? What no one seems able to explain is how Somali manages to keep up this air of total confidence. In his latest streams, he looks straight into the camera, swears that he'll be back in Vegas before the end of the year, and claims that the US State Department will swoop in at the last minute to bail him out. It's either calculated manipulation, the move of a man who's been playing for viral outrage his whole career, or the final spiral of someone who no longer understands the difference between content and reality. Meanwhile, his legal bills are rumored to be spiraling into the 6 figures, and his last few remaining platforms are quietly distancing themselves, desperate to avoid getting dragged into the drama.
This is called merging in a charge. It is atypical for this to happen once, but it is completely unprecedented from the people I've talked to, lawyers, others in this process, to see this many merged into the case, which really means they are hitting him and with needles and needles and needles procedurally.
We watch, almost morbidly fascinated, as Johnny Somali's legend curdles from slapstick to cautionary tale. The younger streamers who once idolized him are now publicly hedging their bets, with 1 or 2 even testifying for the prosecution. Local authorities have made it clear that Somali isn't going anywhere until every charge is resolved and every sentence served, no matter how many Twitter threads he posts declaring victory. But for all the courtroom bravado, we can't help but notice a flicker of unease when the judge reminds him that new charges may still be filed and that sentencing could be delayed for months, leaving him stuck in legal limbo, unable to leave Korea, unable to earn, and unable to live stream his way out of the headline.
We have a trend that I called out in the beginning, and I said this would happen, and exactly as I predicted, we are seeing new charges added right before each court date. Every single...
That's the tension that hums through every moment of this trial. Is Johnny Somali the master troll who always finds a way to turn scandal into content? Or is he about to become the first major influencer to actually pay the price for online mayhem in a foreign country? Every move is calculated for effect, every apology parsed for sincerity, every rumor about secret government deals or surprised witnesses sent ricocheting through social media. And yet, with each day that passes, the question grows sharper. Will Somali's endless confidence hold, or is this, finally, the reality check that will bring the streaming era's biggest menace crashing down? But if there's one twist no one saw coming, it's the rise of South Korea's vigilante YouTubers, an entire cottage industry now dedicated to hunting Johnny Somali both online and off. The atmosphere has shifted from viral outrage to real-world cat and mouse, as local creators swap their ring lights for burner phones and start posting digital bounties. We see private Telegram groups lighting up with Somali's last known location, and witness would-be heroes racing to catch him on camera for the promise of internet fame, a modest cash reward, or both. In some of the more fevered Discord threads, it's clear the line between citizen journalism and digital harassment has completely vanished. One former Somali rival turned vigilante says bluntly, "He wanted attention, let's give him more than he can handle." The results speak for themselves. Public confrontations live streamed for millions and at least 3 physical altercations so far. The internet's angry mob has come to life, all in high definition.
My guess is police have been looking for an excuse to bring him down for a long time. And finally, he did something actually illegal.
We have to ask ourselves, is this the justice Somali's actions deserve, or a dangerous spectacle turning him into a folk anti-hero? There's a strange symmetry to watching a notorious nuisance streamer being hounded by the very tactics he once deployed against his own victims. Some supporters in Seoul's gaming districts whisper about standing up for Korean pride, while others online caution that mob justice only plays into Somali's hands, threatening to make him a martyr for free speech. The debate is thick with irony, a provocateur chased by a digital lynch mob, each side insisting they're fighting for the future of the internet. Meanwhile, traditional media in Seoul debate whether these bounties and vigilante streams cross legal boundaries, with one parliament member even musing on national TV, "Are we becoming the monsters we hunt?" With chaos swirling in the streets, the story takes a darker, more calculating turn behind the curtain. Somali's entire streaming empire, we discover, was engineered around the currency of outrage. Hate-watching, doom-scrolling, and shock engagement became his bread and butter, with each public outcry only driving up his views. Even as he lost access to mainstream platforms, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Somali thrived in the algorithmic underworld of Rumble, where moderation is lighter and controversy pays the bills. Rumble's traffic spikes with every Somali scandal, turning outrage into ad revenue and making Somali an unlikely cash cow for fringe streaming platforms. One former mod describes it as the business model of chaos. The nastier the controversy, the higher the payout, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars per night, much of it in small, anonymous donations from viewers who can't decide if they love or hate the man on screen.
For people out there, this is the sentencing range before today. It changes wildly, and you're going to see it in the best way. And that's the best way for me and those who want Johnny Somali convicted, and the worst way for Johnny Somali after this one is added. So
it's an ugly mirror for social media at large, as Somali taunts lawmakers with his defiance, sporting a red hat and daring the system to stop him. Platforms quietly cash their checks. For every ban, a workaround. For every outrage, 100 new viewers. If anyone's keeping score, it's clear that regulation hasn't caught up to this new breed of content. Some digital watchdogs have started calling for sweeping changes, warning that platforms like Rumble are profiting from international chaos tourism. How much longer can these sites skate by, exploiting loopholes while national governments scramble to respond? Will Somali's case be the domino that forces a crackdown, or just another cautionary tale buried under next month's trending scandal? Yet the real peril for Somali may not even be in the headlines but in the fine print of South Korean law. As the trial drags on, prosecutors keep hinting at a second wave of legal blows, a stack of charges that, if proven, would make his current problems look quaint. Deepfake production, already an explosive topic worldwide, could trigger both tech and privacy laws with teeth. More ominously, that pesky National Security Act violation, stemming from Somali's repeated use of North Korean propaganda, is no idle threat in this part of the world. If authorities decide to make an example of him, we could be looking at a combined sentence so long it would outlast the platforms that made him famous in the first place. But nothing is certain. Whispered reports suggest backroom negotiations with U.S. diplomats could yet see Somali deported, sparking public outrage and accusations of foreign privilege, undermining Korean justice.
Although Johnny is incredibly good at getting out of things. For example, somehow he was able to leave Israel a free man after he was arrested for harassing a military police officer.
The fate of Johnny Somali now hangs in a balance defined by rumor, precedent, and the unpredictable mood of a world that's watched this story spiral from comedy to catastrophe. Will we see the law finally catch up to internet culture's worst actors? Or will backdoor deals and bureaucratic loopholes let Somali slip through the cracks, ready to monetize his own downfall from a new location? And maybe most chillingly, if Somali walks away from this, what message does it send to the next wave of would-be chaos merchants looking for their 15 minutes of rage-fueled fame?
Johnny Somali is frequently getting arrested in foreign countries for his on-stream behavior, but they always let him go. With the amount of sentences this guy's avoided, you'd think he's autistic.
Now, here's where we want you to weigh in. Should vigilante streamers and angry mobs get to decide who pays the price for online antics, or is it up to the courts to lay down the law? Do you think Johnny Somali's streaming empire deserves to be wiped from the web forever, or is he just another victim of cancel culture gone wild? Drop your hottest takes in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because in the world of internet drama, tomorrow's headlines are always just one live stream away. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, the real story is never what it seems.